Well, good morning. Well, it's morning over here. Here we go. Hi, everyone. My volume up. Oh, Jillian's here. So, Jillian, request to join me live. You see that little button in the bottom middle-ish? It's like a little camera with a plus. There we go. Okay. So, guys, we are here morning on the East Coast with another story of hope. And I'll let her come on and share her history. But it's a beautiful one, laced with miscarriage and being told all her eggs were bad, and then giving birth in her mid 40s, right? Early or 44, I think you gave birth, huh? Yeah. Delivered a healthy baby girl at the age of 44. So I'm gonna let Jillian come on. I'm gonna invite her on and let's do this. Let's see. I've added her in. Give it a second. Accept. There we
Hello,
go.
hi.
Oh, so
How
good
are
to see you.
you? So
Hi.
good to see you too.
I feel like your hair's longer. Is it? Or was it always up? It's longer, right?
Maybe, yeah. Post mom kind of look.
Yeah, exactly. No time for a haircut look. No,
Yeah,
doesn't look like
exactly.
that, but I feel you.
Thank
Haircuts and
you.
pedicures and waxes kind of go out the window, right?
I've been trying, but
Same. Hi, how are you?
hey, I'm good. So
Um,
happy to be here.
oh, I'm so happy. I'm so honored. Always, like all you guys coming live is just like I'll cry even thinking about it. It's just such a it's such a beautiful honor that you want to share your story with everyone. But I do think similar to last night with Jennifer, and I feel like so many of the cases there's this level of like advocacy that you learned for yourself,
Really.
um, and that's what got you to the other side of this, right?
Yeah,
Versus believing everything you were told. Because
absolutely.
I mean, we'll get into it, but like, had you moved to IVF and/or egg donors, you still would have miscarried. And
Yeah.
so I think that's such a huge piece that, like, even going through this. So hi everyone, this is Jillian. She's a mama of two, um, and so why don't you share some of the? I have the highlights in front of
Yeah,
me, but I like to hear.
sure. Absolutely. So I had my first daughter in 2016. So she is almost 6 now, and got pregnant at 37, delivered at 38. Naturally, it was pretty easy, didn't really even think about complications. And then after that, I got pregnant when she was about maybe like a year and a half, and that was unexpectedly. And that was one of 5 miscarriages that I had. So they were all early on, which,
Like 5, 6 weeks, but still, right? Yeah.
right, exactly. I mean, you tell
So,
yourself that makes
Scott.
it easier,
Yeah.
but, there's truth to that somewhat. And then, of course, it's devastating. So I was 39 when I miscarried the first time. And so I live in Rome. I live in Italy as well, which is part of the story. But
Yeah.
the first time I miscarried, I was in the States and went to the ER and was basically told I was just old. And that was kind of the story from then on, which I know that I can own that. But like, yeah,
But
like,
age is a number and it's one piece of this puzzle, right? Yeah.
absolutely. So so over the years, I think it was like 5 different OBs here. I went back to the OB that I was seeing. I didn't deliver here. I didn't deliver my daughter here. We actually had moved from Geneva. So I didn't have the doctor, that delivered my daughter, which she was amazing. But anyway, so all the doctors I saw when I got pregnant again and again, they tried me on some protocols, like kind
Yeah.
of the typical,
Blood
like,
thinner, right? It was,
right, Clexane here,
yeah,
and
which is like
progesterone.
Lovenox dates and progesterone,
Yeah,
right? Right.
exactly. But nothing worked, and at some point I started doing my own research, and I had an inkling that there was something else going on. I have a lot of autoimmune diseases in my family. My mom has Crohn's disease, my aunt has MS. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But so I just had an inkling that there was something else going on. And I found, and I cannot remember, his name is skipping me right now, but it's Dr. Vidali's predecessor, I guess.
Oh, Braverman. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
you found like his website, like preventmiscarriage.com, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then to come and find out like he passed away, which was so sad. So, you know, I was, you know, trying to advocate for myself, but I felt pretty stuck. I felt very stuck being here. And then COVID happened, right? So then I was like, felt really stuck. And then I found you. Then I found you, Amy. I mean, I just, you know, I was really determined to have a second child, something I wanted, and oh, I'm getting emotional already. So yeah, then I found you, and I decided to do your your group coaching, and along with the e-course as well.
Yeah.
And it was just, it turned everything around for me. So and the reason being, I think you're just so amazing for so many reasons, Amy, but and so many different parts of your e-course and the coaching really was supportive for me. But I felt like you could just kind of see through what was going on. You were like, okay, like there's something, but you know, there's something like physical going on, right? So, and then you connected me to Dr. Vidali, and Dr. Vidali miraculously knew
Italian. Well, that's what, remember, so Jillian comes to us, and yeah, guys, remember, I'm giving away a scholarship here today too. So the more comments and stuff here, the more I see you and hear you, and then you're more likely to be chosen as a scholarship winner for the e-course, which was part of what Jillian did. So yeah, you came to us at 42. You joined the group coaching, which was me and Michelle at the time. And
yes,
now we have other coaches. Michelle has decided not to do fertility coaching anymore because her acupuncture practice is so busy, but she's doing great. And so you did 2 sessions with Michelle, and then you got access to the group coach, to the e-course, and then you had a group led by me. So and it was, I remember hearing your case right away. I think it maybe been the first group where I was like, yeah, this is definitely autoimmune. Something else is going on. I mean, you always hear me say, and you guys also always heard me say it, like, I don't care about your age. If I see back-to-back miscarriages, more than one miscarriage in a row without a live birth in between, especially in a case like yours where you'd already carried, we know you can do it, that there has to be something going on. This is not egg quality. And Braverman is the one who taught me, which I always get emotional talking about him, but he's the one who taught me. He said, nature is never that stupid. Nature will not keep picking bad eggs over and over again and miscarrying them. It just won't do that. There's something else going on. He said 1 out of, what did he say? Like 1 out of every 10, maybe it'll go down like that, but not 1 out of 3, not back to back like that. And so
really interesting.
Yeah. And so even with you though, you know, the doctors were kind of onto something with putting the Clexane or the Lovenox and the progesterone into the mix. But so yeah, you come to us at 42, and you did discover you had a clotting factor even before. When did you discover the clotting factor? That was like, because you still had 3 miscarriages on the Lovenox and progesterone protocol. So she had a total of 5 miscarriages, 2 before a doctor introduced any meds, and then no miscarriages since working with us, right? Because then it was, I think we took a break. We wanted to get more testing. That's what I remember, like recommending not trying. Which, how did that feel when I recommended that? Was that scary, or was that?
It definitely felt scary. It felt scary. I mean, because of my age, right? So there's always that, what I'll call chatter going on in the back of your head. I'm getting old, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. But at the same time, I just was ready to try something different. So it was just kind of a leap of faith and a trust piece. And I was just like, you know, this isn't working.
Well, it's like what you were doing wasn't working, right? And you weren't getting the right care. And then I do remember you being in Rome, and I said, well, Vidali's also Italian. I was like, so there's got to be some connection. Like, I knew his brother was also a physician, and I just remember being like, I'm just going to connect you guys and we're going to figure it out. And I think at that time too, I didn't know that they actually worked with international clients. And so So Vidali's team connected you with someone in Rome, right?
Yeah, well, I was getting set up to work with them internationally, and I think maybe because of COVID, I don't know if they expanded that because of COVID or not, but so I was, putting in all my information and talking to the secretaries there and getting ready to, have an online appointment, and then he just contacted me with this name, and it's amazing. This doctor, he was very eccentric but brilliant, so
Yeah,
brilliant, and
just
him.
like Vidali.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, my good Roman friends had gone to Vidali when they lived in New York years ago, and they raved about him as well. But this doctor isn't that well known in Rome. I mean, he's brilliant, and he's a part of all these reproductive societies, American ones, and he knows every reproductive endocrinologist in the world. But he's not that well known in Rome. He's more of like an academic. So him and Vidali knew each other like 25 years ago. They met at Yale. So right? Just like crazy.
Very synchronistic, it's like serendipitous. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he just knew, number one, he had me tested for a lot more things. I mean, he was much more extensive than anybody else because everyone was just blowing me off and saying, and I was going to specialists. I was going to really respected specialists here in Rome, and everyone was like, it's your age and your only hope is to do IVF, which I wasn't against, but I didn't think I needed that, and then to get your eggs tested, and then at that point your percentage is going to be really low. So I heard that over and over, but this doctor just, he did all the testing, and my AMH, I just have to put this out there for anybody who has the AMH FSH chatter. It was like horrendous. My numbers were just like horrendous. Yeah. But he put me on
which also like speaks volumes though. So it's like you're 42, 43 at that point getting tested. Your numbers aren't great. And so imagine that in the fertility clinic, even more chatter of like, you would have gotten that same thing that our girl last night, Jen, got, which was, a 1% chance of this happening naturally, which is also just soul crushing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. When I got those numbers back, I was like, oh, but he was like, oh, don't worry about it. And I really trusted him. He's a genius. He really is brilliant.
Yeah. They're like mad scientists. I feel like Braverman's like that. Vidali's like that. I feel like they're in that mad. I think I'm a little like that at times too. Mad scientist. I'm like, I don't know. There's just something else here,
Absolutely. You are, Amy. Absolutely. So I also want to say I did follow your protocol really strictly with the diet as well.
What I want to point out here on this vein too is like, so when Jillian comes, I mean, of course the miscarriages are a huge red flag of like, okay, something is going on here. But then we dug deeper into what we like the kinks in your system or the red flags, and you had pain during like a bowel movement. I mean, this is TMI, but we're here sharing. But
I'm totally open about that.
That's endometriosis. Like I'm telling you right now, that's endometriosis.
I still wonder about that actually, even recently.
But like we didn't necessarily treat it. You didn't go and get endosurgery, but you did do the immunology workup, and we did add in some additional meds. You had cold body temp, really dry skin. You had eczema. You had water retention, hair loss, blurred vision. I mean, a lot. Sinus congestion, dry skin, bruise easily, leg cramps, allergies, fatigue, indigestion, belching, frequent urination, like so many things. Irritability, shortness of breath. And periods used to be super heavy, cloddy. And then, much had improved with the diet. So you dove full into the diet, of course, and all the lifestyle shifts. I mean, that was a huge piece. And that was part of it where I was like, let's put this on hold. Let's get more testing. Yeah. Let's, and you were coaching with Michelle, and I was just kind of overseeing the case. So for all of you guys out there that, working with me, we're about to run out of those slots anyway, but knowing that like my coaches, I really do, right? I'm in there, and especially in the group coaching, but even if you do a one session with my coach, I'm in there, I'm overseeing, I'm directing and guiding. And so you dove full on into the diet, and I don't think
I did. I was like really religiously followed it. I mean, it was hard to find organic chicken here, but I made my own broth. I put the feed in and everything. So.
And then how long would you say you did the diet for before we started trying again? You might remember the timeline better than me, because you came to me at 42 and you got pregnant at 43. So somewhere probably 3 to 6 months you were in that.
Yeah. I think I stuck to the diet. I mean, I think I stuck to it. I mean, I'd say for probably 6 months.
Yeah, yeah. And probably even into the early part of this pregnancy, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and then of course, we had to increase your fish oil.
Yes.
It's always tough with our Euro girls of like, we had you get on some mitochondrial supplements, but we had to find the right ones in Italy.
Yeah.
You were on the inositol. We put you on the baby aspirin in the luteal phase. You were eating liver. You were actually eating liver 3 to 4 ounces a week.
Yeah. Because here you can get it at the butcher, the
so
fantastic
easy.
butcher.
I put you on the Wobenzyme, Chinese herbs. Did you see someone or did I ship you herbs? I can't remember.
I did see somebody. Yeah.
Okay. You were doing acupuncture. And then, so diet, we said continue on, which was then we were calling the body belief eating plan, but it was basically the early stages of egg quality diet.
Yes, exactly. You switched right when I was getting
exactly. Right. It published. And then I had you follow the MTHFR guide. Let's see. You were also doing a Vrigo abdominal massage and acupuncture, right?
That's right. And I've been doing Arvigo long before, I've miscarried many times while I was doing Arvigo, and I loved Arvigo, and my specialist was amazing.
Right.
And I think it all came together. But yeah, I continue doing that as well.
Yeah. And then, new mantra we gave you a new mantra. All the answers will find you. I like that. You can rest in the knowing of this. Say it each morning, put it on a sticky. So all the answers will find you. And we also had you focus on the difference between biological and chronological age, which
Absolutely
is hard.
Yes.
Focusing on 5 ways in which your body is working for you each day. Because there was a lot of that too, of like, my body's failing me.
Yes.
It's working against me, right? There was a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Anger.
Belief.
Yeah, exactly. Of just, you were so frustrated. We had you read Spirit Babies. And then, setting boundaries to protect your energy, joy, and hope from some of like the Facebook groups, right? Where you were in other groups too, and some of the notifications.
Lots of groups.
Yeah.
Lots of Facebook groups. Yes.
And that was like triggering, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And let's see.
Yes. And I also, Amy, just really, so I'm a coach myself. I coach for a program that specializes in any eating disorder. So I just want to put that out there because I'm also an LCSW. I'm a therapist and a coach. And, sometimes when you have those specialties, I know, Amy, you see so many people, but sometimes you have this belief that like, I should be able to figure this out myself, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the reality. And so I also really dove into your course and I did so much mindset work. And I did like so many meditations, visualizations. I listened to them all the time and visualized my baby. So, I mean, really coming at it from,
Yeah. And it was like a self-renewal process for you too, because it was just so many years of like what, 3 years, 5 losses. It's a lot. And then also being, outside of your home country and, like there was just not having to navigate the system and how to advocate for yourself. I remember thinking like, it was so synchronistic of like, I was like, well, Vidal's Italian. He's got to know somebody. I remember that. I was like,
amazing.
Somebody. And I can't always promise that to everybody watching, but like, I think there's also those hits that you get, from that spiritual perspective where I was like, this is the connection that needs to be made. And then so fast forward, so you do the immunological workup and he finds a couple more like immunological markers.
Yeah.
We add, I think it was like our version of IVIG or Neupogen I think it was Neupogen.
Neupogen. It was Neupogen. Yeah.
We add Neupogen to the mix. And when did you take that? Because you were taking that in the lead up. Tell us that part, because this is interesting for a lot of the girls.
That's right. So, and again, he was like, a real expert. He's like, we don't need very much. You just need a tiny little dosage. I couldn't figure out the dosage. I was like, what? Because, it's a different system here. But so 3 months before I got pregnant, I started taking it. And I mean, right away, I'm trying to think. So I think I started taking it
3 months is what you said. After I started taking the immunosuppressant drug, I got pregnant in 3 months.
Yeah, that's right. So got pregnant in 3 months, and the rest is history. It was a viable pregnancy, and he followed me very, very carefully. I mean, that also made me
So you
feel,
got blood work throughout the pregnancy, like the way Vidali does
yes,
it here. Yeah. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. Which made me just feel much more calm. I mean, it was very stressful, but he was very supportive in that way. And I did take a lot of progesterone. I mean, I did, do progesterone shots throughout my pregnancy. I still took the Clexane, still took the
Yeah.
cardioaspirin.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
And then the fish oil, we stayed on that dose.
Yep.
And then how long did you stay on the Neupogen for? So like for the first trimester?
Yes, through the first trimester. I think I don't remember what week, but he would have even had me like lower it a little sooner, but I was a little anxious to do that. So,
Yeah. I feel like I remember that because I remember us emailing throughout that.
yeah,
And how was the pregnancy? Like how were you treated during that pregnancy, considering your age?
right. Well, it's interesting. In Italy, so this is what I was told as well. In Italy, people have children a lot older, and I think there's a socioeconomic factor. So I mean, in the States, you're considered like a geriatric pregnancy. You're like
Yeah.
35 and above, right? But here, everyone said to me, I would always say, like, I'm old. They're like, oh, no, you're not. People say that all the time. I mean,
Wow.
even, so I switched doctors. Like, he was my specialist in the beginning, and I switched doctors, this amazing female doctor, and just had an incredible birth with a midwife and my doctor. Oh, it was really emotional just thinking about it. um, it was really beautiful. And
Yeah.
yeah, so a little bit of a crazy story. So I was induced, as I was induced with my first as well because of my age. And so like I'm being induced, everything's going along great. And the anesthesiologist comes in, and then he sees my cardioaspirin. I brought my cardioaspirin with me, and my doctor told me to stop taking the Clexane shots, right? But she didn't tell me about the cardioaspirin.
Oh, yeah.
So the anesthesiologist says like, oh, I don't really like the looks of that. But he didn't say anything. And then my doctor comes in. She's like, sorry, we cannot give you an epidural. So I was
So
like,
you have to go all natural.
yeah. But they actually did, but it was perfect timing. And it was a much easier birth than for my first. So they did give me, a spinal, but it was some sort of anesthesia, which she said we had to do it like the perfect timing because I only had a 2-hour window that it would last. And I was about to give birth when I was like, okay, I really need it. I need it to push. And yeah, it just happened. I don't know, it's not easy at the time, but when I look back on it,
Yeah.
considering everything, it was just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And then now on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter is like so happy, so healthy, just so beautiful and just tranquil and sweet and calm. And
And
she's
do you
just,
feel like, I mean, I know this is, I don't know. Do you feel like the process of what you went through set you up to be the mother she needs? You know what I mean? Like, do you see that? Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, I do. I do see that. And yes, I do feel that way.
Not that I want anybody to go through the suffering you went through, but just that there was like a preparation in there or some kind of spiritual guidance happening, right?
Absolutely. Yes. My own journey for sure. I mean, I grew along the way in so many aspects.
Yeah. And so what do you want to share with the girls following and listening right now?
So, what I want to share is, it's really a piece about mindset and something like I've learned along the way in terms of my own mindset. So, the way our brain works, my other program is really, and I know you love neurobiology, Amy, but the brain's always trying to save its energy. So when we have a belief, the brain is, is always looking in the environment for things to support that belief.
Yeah. Social proof. Yeah.
Right. So if I have the belief that I'm too old and this is too hard, then I'm not going to follow through. But, I think really meeting you and just the knowing you had and then getting the connection, with the right doctor and then all the mindset work.
Yeah.
In terms of not giving up, because there were so many times when definitely I could have given up, right? I mean, I definitely wanted to give up and I was like, this is crazy. I'm too old. And people were telling me, I mean, doctors were telling me that. So that's
It's
this.
just like digging deep into that, like trusting and knowing. And I think,
And getting the right support.
yeah, well, 100%. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
having the right team that's like aligned with you, that, and I feel like too, of like, you were in a lot of the groups and bouncing around and stuff like that. So it's like that creates chaos in a sense versus like,
Absolutely.
and I always say it too, of like maybe you pick one or two people that like are going to be your go-to, that you're going to trust and listen to, or one or two groups, and then the rest start to shut them down. I think that was like, I was reading through like our recommendations for you, and it was like, set
Yes.
boundaries and turn off notifications on some of those groups, because it was like, it was triggering you and then spinning you into this, I am too old, it's not working for anybody else, it's not going to work for
Right.
me,
Right.
versus streamlining and being like, okay, well, here, and I know in our group, and I feel like even in the group coaching that you did, there was a lot of women around the same age, and I feel like
Yeah.
I remember that too, that piece of like, oh, okay, I'm definitely not alone, there's this intimate
Absolutely.
group, and we're all working on this mindset piece.
Yeah.
And then also, what about that piece with like doing the diet and the lifestyle shifts, and did you start to feel, physiologically younger than how you started, if you will?
Yes, I felt great. I felt really great on the diet. Just, I mean, I've always been like an exerciser, and
Yeah,
just getting connected to things that bring you joy and
yeah,
really committing to that, right?
I love it.
So,
And then even the nutrition piece, like I feel like, this came up last night in the story of hope too, where it was like letting that nutrition and lifestyle piece be part of the joy versus part of the punishment, right? And that again is also like this mindset shift.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had a friend that had done a similar diet years ago, and she was like, it was amazing. I remember her telling me about it at a wedding, and she was doing the bone broth, and she just said she'd never felt better in her life. And all of these things cleared up for her. And I was really excited about it, actually.
Yeah.
Excited to, kind of have something to take action on. And I definitely saw like inflammation go down and my skin changed. And oh yeah, I did like the salt baths. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. You did
um,
all of it. You did
yeah,
all of it. You really
I
jumped
did
in.
all of it. And the other thing I want to say is, I definitely think we as women, we just have a lot of, again, chatter about like investing in ourselves. And I definitely went back and forth a lot about that, right? But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It's so worth it to do the coaching with you or whatever you have available, do the programs. And
Okay.
because I also research a lot of experts, but Amy, you have so much, just so much knowledge and history, and, you're such an expert, and you're so connected to so many experts that I just think you're the best. So
Thank you. Yeah, it was beautiful watching it all work for you too, because that
yeah,
was quite a struggle. And I just remember, I guess to say like how lost you felt when you came to us, just like I'm at my wit's end, and it was like that thing of like, okay, pressure's on, like we better fucking figure this out for this girl.
right.
I feel like I
Did.
texted Vidali myself, if I remember that, where I was like,
Yes,
yeah,
you
yeah,
did. You did, which I so
yeah,
appreciate.
yeah.
So appreciate it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, he's, I think that's the beautiful thing too of the connections I've made over the years. The doctors I resonate with the most are the ones who, and now I'm going to get emotional, who really give a shit. And like, this is their job, not just to make money, but because they're doing a service. And
Yeah,
that's how Braverman always was, of like, no, we can't see another miscarriage here. Like, this is not okay. And we have to figure this out. And,
yeah,
and then the rage that comes up in me, even for, you know, for you guys, when these other doctors then tell you, no, it's just your age, like you're out of luck. I'm so sorry. Donor egg is the only option. And
yeah.
I get so livid because I'm like, yeah, and she's gonna go and miscarry that donor egg after she just spent $40,000 on those
Right,
eggs. Like,
right.
fuck you,
Yeah,
excuse my language, but like
yeah,
seriously, that
no,
is a bullshit answer. You're
yeah.
not supporting this person. And so to get my girls to the right care, I mean, it's just like it's step number one, right?
Absolutely.
And I also know that like I do believe very much in all the protocols I create, but you needed the extra medical support, and I'm a
Yeah,
huge proponent of the two coming together, of integration,
yeah,
um, And who knows? Yeah, maybe at some point you would have done it, just doing the Clexane and the diet. But I don't know. I get super protective too of like, there's no need for any more losses here. Let's just get
Right.
to the right doctors, get the right plan, then like, and also for you in your heart, you need to feel like, okay, I need to check all these boxes of all the things I'm doing differently the next time I decide to try again, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I just had kind of had it with with the miscarriages, understandably. I just was like, I don't know if I can do another one.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. I know. Okay. So any final words to share with everyone? Or I feel like we've covered a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, just trust yourself and invest in this. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. Once you get to the other side, like,
you don't even think about it. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're one of those cases of like, I went through the statistics of the last 4 years of the course, and
yes,
it's
I've
about
been seeing your statistics. They're amazing, Amy.
65% of women who fully dive in the way you did have their baby in 18 months. And then there's about 15% of women who don't dive in, and then I kind of lose track of them. And then there's 20% who are harder cases and they take a little bit longer. I'm not saying that they're not diving in as much as you did or didn't. It's just a more challenging case. But you were that case. I mean, you came to us at 42. You gave birth at 44. So within 18 months, you actually had your baby in your arms.
4 days after my 44th birthday, so it was like right on the cusp. So, yeah, it was pretty soon after I came to you. I mean, that I gave birth.
And it's like, and to think that you'd been suffering in silence for 3 years, 3 years. It's a long time. So yeah, it's like you're the perfect example. And even the call I did last night with Jennifer, it was the same thing of like, she was so shut down by the system, and similar age, she gave birth at 44 as well. And it was the same thing, where it was just like, and I think it's not easy for everyone to make this like their full-time job the way, some women can, but like you said and keep saying, it's like the investment in yourself on all those levels and showing up for yourself is so worth it. It's like giving your dream the best possible chance of coming true, right?
Absolutely. And then like you said, like on the other side, it's not only, having a baby, a beautiful baby, and feeling like, a complete family, but you're also a better person for it. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I love this. And everybody saying this gives me so much hope, so much hope. Thank you for being so generous with your story and your spirit. I love it.
I'm an emotional person. So.
I know. I knew we were going to cry. Or they say you have bad luck with recurrent pregnancy loss. Yeah, that's a true one, right? The bad luck drives me insane. It's bad luck if you're like under 35. It's eggs if you're over 35 is what I always see. Yeah. Because I have girls that are 32 that are having recurrent pregnancy loss, and the doctors will just say to them, it's just bad luck. And it's like, no, you need the better doctor.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, someone needs to read some research.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I was doing more research than, I got in fights with some doctors here. The last doctor I saw, I fought with him. I was just, he was just like, you need to trust the system. You need to trust IVF. And I was, he didn't want to hear it. He just didn't want to hear it.
And that's it too. Cause I do think with IVF, I always say, I think it's like 60% of the cases don't even really need to be there. And so the basic protocols will work for those women. So it's like, so the doctors are like, well, if it ain't broke, you know what I mean? I'm not going to change anything. And so these cases, they just shuffle you off, and then it becomes your job to then find the right care. And I feel like half of my job is like, of course, there's all this medical expertise and all the diet and the supplements, lifestyle, mindset, all the things. But like a big portion of the job is advocacy, like helping you guys step into your power so you can not take no for an answer.
Exactly.
Like, hey, this is my body, my time, my money, my future family. I'll see you later, and that's a hard thing to do. Because you feel like you're questioning there's these pillars, like it's a belief system of like doctors are who you trust, doctors are who you go to, you listen to everything they say. And
over here, it's even more of a hierarchy. I know in the States it is as well, but definitely there's like a really clear hierarchy here.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing. Okay, I'm
And
gonna
you're right. It's all about stepping into your power too, Amy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why the course and the book are called what they're called. Yes, you can get pregnant. It's like, and I get that that's maybe not for everyone, but like, I don't know, it's for most of the cases. And half of it is having the confidence to step into your power. But I think the confidence to step into your power does come from that community and that tribe and that like that support piece, right? That right support, because then you don't question yourself so much anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I want to just announce too, Nell Can is winning the scholarship today.
Yay!
So NELLCAN. Just email Beth@amyrupp.com and then
Oh,
we set
Beth,
you up. I know.
you're
Yeah,
wonderful,
Beth.
Beth.
No. You know, Beth is 30 some odd weeks pregnant right now too.
No
Yeah.
way! That's amazing. Oh my goodness, that's
She's
amazing.
watching, so you could say anything you want to her.
Auguri, as we say in Italian, Beth. That's amazing. Amazing. So
Aww.
much love to you and your little
Yeah.
baby.
Oh, I know. It's so exciting. Oh, it's so exciting.
That's
So,
so.
okay. I'm going to let you go. And I appreciate you so much, Jillian. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
And
much, Amy. I
reach those
appreciate you so much.
girls. Oh, same,
It's
same.
it's
Okay.
all it's all because of you.
Oh, well, thank you. You did it too. Okay. Bye-bye. I'll talk to you guys later.
Ciao,
I'll see you later.
ciao.
I'll see you guys at 2:00 for another fertility hot seat. And then there's a Q&A this evening. So fertility hot seat at 2, Q&A this evening at 7 p.m. Lots going on. Okay. And now I'm going to go treat some clients. I'm in the acupuncture clinic right now. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day.